I'm Bambi Francisco with Vader News, and there's always more room for search innovation. One company trying to help our search experience is Digger, and joining me to talk about Digger is CEO and founder Tim Musgrove. Tim, thanks for joining us.
Hi, thanks.
Congratulations, by the way, on the $4 million raise. Of course, you closed that in December, but it's tough times to raise funds.
You're right, it was not easy, and we're really happy to have it done.
So clearly investors are interested in what you're doing to help solve a problem in search or being able to find products. So just to open this up, what is the problem with the way people find stuff on the web?
I think what's wrong with the way people find stuff on the web is that we're still locked in the exact keyword match model, pretty much where we were several years ago. It's just that it's getting bigger, it's getting faster, bells and whistles are being added to it, but until we can match the concept or the meaning of text, even when it's expressed in different words, we're not going to really make a big leap.
Well, we started with semantic. I remember Ask Jeeves was all about semantic web, but it really didn't take off. So why is it going to work today?
Well, I think the problem with the original Ask Jeeves, and I remember that too, it wasn't really scalable, right? I mean, at one point they had just a big, sweatshop almost in Berkeley of a lot of people, hand coding templates, and unless you entered a query the same way they had already thought of, it couldn't do anything.
Right. And there was also PowerSet, which came out several years ago and focused on semantic search, and I guess the challenge for them was really indexing enough pages, and that was really the problem that they faced. And of course they had a successful exit, $100 million or so, something like that exit. But when you look at what happened with them, how are you avoiding whatever it is that was challenging them?
Yeah, so we're doing a couple things different from PowerSet. One, we avoid the indexing problem because we can work with anyone's existing keyword index. So we look at what your query means, and then we can send it into Google or Yahoo or any keyword search index that's out there. And the other thing is that we really focus on the semantics of what the word means. PowerSet, on the other hand, they really believe that the grammar of the query was important. It was more like asking the query as a question, like where can I park near Market Street?
Right.
And we actually don't think that people want to ask questions as a sentence or very often.
Well, they've been so used to just asking through keywords.
Right. Everyone's used to keywords, and PowerSet said that was unnatural and that Google made us use keywords against our will. And we say that people have been using Post-it notes and to-do lists for decades where you just put a keyword. And
well, in today's generation, people are using, TTYL, and I mean that's the way, these little talk to you later.
That's right. If you look at little fragment phrases on Twitter, I mean, it comes natural to us. So we think the query is going to be a query, not normal English, but that the semantics of what the words mean. If someone types cab, C-A-B, do they mean Cabernet or do they mean a taxi cab? And that's what we want to get at.
Okay, but not the entire sentence. And it's interesting, it sounds like you're cooperating with Google as opposed to PowerSet trying to be the Google killer. So you're working with a lot of the search engines, or you're leveraging what they've already searched.
Absolutely.
What they've already indexed. So let's just pop up just to show you, this is a search engine, a destination site, digger.com. It's not live. If anybody wants to play around with it, we can give them a little code, a Vader News code, and they can play around with it, correct?
Absolutely.
So we're fortunate enough to actually be able to actually look at this. This is something to be launched second half of 2009, and this is for the power user, you said, right? So let's take a look at, we decided to search for Cape Cod Golf Course with Ocean View. So maybe you want to explain, and then also we should take a look at Google searches, but let's explain how you came up with these relevant results.
Well, you notice our system is grouping this pretty long query into phrases. So it says, hey, we think Cape Cod goes together. That's a place. You're not talking about the fish cod or anything.
Sure.
And Ocean View, it's doing different things here. And you notice it's hitting beachfront for Ocean View as a semantic variation on that. So that's the kind of thing that makes it stand out a little bit.
So let's pop up Google and just see the result there. So the Ocean Edge Resort and Golf Club, that's their top result. So Ocean Edge Resort, go back to the Digger result, and Grindle's Ocean View Park, Massachusetts. So what do you think is the difference there in terms of results that you're trying to provide?
In this case, there's probably so many golf courses that if you don't care so much about completeness of results, and you just want the first one, maybe Google is fine. But if you're used to sitting down and saying, what was that particular golf resort and how many different ways do I have to reword this query, you don't have to think up beachfront and oceanfront and all the other different ways of saying this, because this tool automatically expands the contextually appropriate variation, so you're getting a more complete result set.
Now, what kind of users, you said you want the power users to use Digger, so what kind of searches would make sense for Digger? What kind of searches make sense for Google?
You know, we think that the queries that tend to be longer queries that are particularly specific, where you really care about being thorough and finding, everything that's out there, are things where Digger is going to be a more powerful tool than just the more, default kind of Google search. And we think that, Google is going to have the biggest index and be the fastest search engine, and it's going to be the simplest to use for a long time, but that's not always what you want.
And what is your business model here? Are you going to have sponsored listings? Is it going to be paid search?
Yeah, I mean, if we do paid search, you can expect us to do it, Digger style, which is it will be semantic as well. You won't be, you won't have, a vacation rental and a handheld company and a fortune teller all bidding for the word palm. Mm-hmm. But instead, that'll be disambiguated on what kind of palm the advertiser is talking about, so that the ads will be semantically relevant to the way the query was defined as well.
Okay. Well, Tim Musgrove, innovating on today's search experience. We wish you all the best of luck.
Thanks.
With Digger. I've been speaking with Tim Musgrove. He is the CEO and founder of Digger. I'm Bambi Francisco.